All right.
Woo!
What's up, bro? It's still so weird. I can't even, like, you shaving, like, totally throws me off. It just does.
Right?
I haven't seen you like that for like 10 years.
It's true. It's true. I don't have a lot posted on my channel, but those who've seen everything until just these last two has always had a beard. So, um, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
shaved it. We'll see if it comes back.
it better come back. Like, this is taking a lot of getting used to the way that it is now. Um, but yeah, me and Zach were sitting here talking. Obviously, most people know that I'm in marketing.
But yeah, okay. I was gonna say let's
And
make sure we do an introduction.
right, yeah, yeah. Most people know that I'm into marketing. Mostly law firms is who I work with for multiple reasons.
Look behind him. NDO SEO. That's Nathan Draper Olsen. For those who want to steal his identity, and fill us in what SEO stands for.
Search engine optimization. But anyhow, I'm not here to promote myself. I'm just here. We were having a discussion about
Yes.
basically my website because my website is garbage. I'm aware of it. It's been garbage almost from day one.
Hey, and before we go into it, and I'm not here to advertise anything yet, but it's still part of the introduction. I started my podcast is Life Transformation with Zachary Bailey. So Nate goes into things from a marketing perspective. He's also going to train me because business is new for me. I have been a W-2 guy my entire life and decided finally enough is enough. I freaking hate it. So I'm looking to people like him, examples to help me move forward and stop being stuck in a trap, which same thing with what I'm trying to offer with any other aspect of life. Let's stop being stuck. Let's move forward. Let's grow. Let's grow together. All right, go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, perfect. So I've known Zach most of my life. Yeah, that's just the truth. He's retired military. He had some struggles. My biggest thing, if I'm just being honest about you with you, Zach, is I've seen you do some really horrible things that really hurt you, but you dug yourself out of that huge hole that most people would not be able to do. So that's
Right.
impressive. So I believe that you have what it takes. But the point being is, we were talking about websites. My website's garbage. I agree. He's learning things. He's coming. He's like, "Why does your website look like this?" It's like, look, it's like a plumber. You know, the plumber has the worst plumbing because by the time he gets home, he doesn't want to work on his own stuff. He's been working on everybody else's.
Exactly.
So I've been working on everybody else's. I've even contemplated taking my website down and just putting words that says I'm busy building everyone else's dreams instead of my own, and then my contact. Because in reality, I just want to get on a meeting or a phone call or a Zoom and discuss if I can help people because I can't help everybody. This is just honest truth. I can't help everybody. I'm not that marketer. I'm not somebody who says I can help you. I can help everyone. That's not true. I can be a good fit when it comes to certain industries and certain people, but I have to see how they operate. I have to see what they've currently built. I have to see what I can help them with. So until I can even discuss with somebody, I don't want them to be sold. I don't want them to be sold on my website. I don't want them to be sold. They're ready to hire me. That's what I've learned over the course of the years of me doing this is those are the worst clients. Those are the ones that are like they'll wake you up in the middle of the night. They'll call your phone call at midnight. They'll call your phone at midnight. I have this emergency, and their emergency is like, I don't like the size of that icon. It's it's where I'm at. It's
Oh
1
my God.
a.m. It's 1
Yeah.
a.m. You're calling me because you don't like the size of an icon. That, by the way, they passed off and said that the website looked great, and it's like this is what's keeping them up at night. I guess this one icon, but so. So what I've learned is vetting my clients and basically showing them what I can do. So as an example, when somebody's serious, it's kind of like, well, let's pretend that you've already hired me. So, okay, you've already hired me. So my first thing I talked about was we need to clean up the homepage or whatever we discussed. So what I actually do is I mock up a design for them so they can see exactly what it's going to look like, exactly how it's going to function. And we can go, hey, does that look good? And then they're like, oh, wow, you do know what you're talking about. And then, and then it's like, hey, let me show you another thing. I noticed you don't have a call now button on your mobile. It's like you're making people search how to contact you. And then you do that, and they're like, oh, wow, it's like my calls did increase over the last month after we did that. And then, because SEO is one of those things. It takes a lot of patience and time, and there's a lot of scammers in it because they keep telling you, oh, I just need another 30 days. I need another 30 days. I need it. I'd rather prove my worth and value up front. So I want to show you that, hey, look, I did what I said I would do. Hey, you're seeing what I'm talking about is improving your business. And then we can work together to where it's like, okay, now you trust me, I trust you. Now we can really do the big stuff, because now when I need your patience, you're going to be more patient because I'm showing you who I am. I'm showing you how I work. As to where a website can't do any of that. It just can't. And there's nobody really looking for SEOs. I mean, it just is kind of one of those things. People don't jump on Google and go, SEO near me, you know. And if they do, they're like probably not. They're probably those clients that want to wake you up at 1 a.m. who are like, hey, that icon's bothering me. And I've had that happen. That's a real story. That really happened. And I've had worse. I've had others. And so to me, it's like, from just referrals, I stay fairly busy. I'm really looking for best fit clients at this point. I'm one person. I don't want to manage a team again in my lifetime. I just don't. I'm not looking to grow and expand in this huge multi-million, billion-dollar company. My other ideas maybe, but not this idea. Like, I'm great at marketing. I'm passionate about it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be that. And that is why my website sucks. Maybe when I get time, maybe I will update it. Maybe I will do things. But one day it'll be an exit, you know, because I don't plan on doing this my entire life. It wears on you after you help so many people build their dream, and you're just kind of stuck in the same place because there's only one of you. This is all you can. This is like you feel stuck, right? That's why you're trying to get into entrepreneurship. I feel stuck in what I'm doing currently. This is why I have to, you know, my mentors are telling me, you need 10 income sources, you need this, you need that.
Yes.
And so
let's talk a little bit about that too, because I think that's really valuable. So, you know, we get stuck in something, we could burn out in it, but if we have other things to do, it'll make us last longer so we don't burn out faster, as well as bring in that source of income. So tell us a little bit about what some of those things are for you, or what they will be and why.
well, most of mine is going to revolve around marketing just because that's my background. So I've built some websites that should generate income from ads, from lead gen, selling leads to companies, things like that. I've also invented a few ideas that are real products in real life that I'm looking into patenting and selling and doing on that aspect. I've tried a million different things, so it's kind of like the first pass is just doing 10 ideas. And one of my criterias from people who have been teaching me are saying, hey, they should be making you income. So I took ones that are making me income, even if it's only a couple dollars a month, and based on their philosophy is you can grow those to be more and more and more. But then you got to kind of filter out and find the ones that are succeeding the most. And those are your cream of the crop. Those are the ones you focus on. And that's kind of what I've been doing. So to me, I have to go, do I want to focus on these, or do I want to redesign my website or focus on that? And I'm going, hey, I don't really want to stick around in marketing for more than probably another 5 years. I'd like to be retired in 10. So in order to do that, I can't keep going down the same path that I've done in the past. Even though I've done well for myself. You've known me almost my whole life. We didn't come from money. We didn't come from these massive riches and things, you know. Most of the stuff, even yourself, you had to learn on your own. And your choices were a little bit different than mine. You went off to the military, which is probably smarter, if I'm being honest with you. Like, because then you have more opportunity later. Like, now you have more opportunity than someone who's just starting out. Like, you know,
it actually led to an opportunity today.
Right.
It actually led. I just met a guy. I went to go. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. Go.
You said something that grabbed my attention, because I was like, okay, I'm trying to start this entrepreneurship, life transformation. I am focusing on the things I'm learning. You know, when you what they say, proximity is power, and you know, you take massive action. You want to be around the types of people and stuff that are, you know, going to help create that life for you, whether it's networking or creating a client or customer. And so one of the things that people do is they take, you know, they make, like in life transformation, you might find a niche or whatever, like, well, what's my experience and what am I already, you know, compatible with and stuff, you know, and sometimes it comes up when you don't expect it. I went to a lady's house that we're serving in our church to help out with She got a lot of weeds in her flower garden, and so some guys went in there. We're supposed to do all this work today, but they went in sooner and they got all the plants out. They got the old drip line out. They got the old rocks out. They got the old covering out, and they dug it down deeper so that when we rebuild it, can put more rocks and prevent more weeds. So I went there. I've kind of been putting it off a little bit because I was like, this other action's been really important. I know I got to do that, but I really need to work on my business and stuff. I don't really want to do something until I've met some of my business goals. It's going to cause my growth. I've got more programs to build and stuff so that I can start marketing it. And then I thought, somebody texted me and said, "Hey, were you able to go out there this morning? When can you go over there and just reassess the situation? What's left for us to do tonight?" I'm like, all right, I can't put this off. And then immediately, as I decided, I got off my seat. I thought about another scenario of another situation. There's another guy just lost his wife that I've been trying to help, but I've been a little bit not able to be there for him. Was weed eating, weed eater broke down and stuff. I thought, man, I need to check up on him. I can't wait too long. Wait till after the service before I, address how you doing, because I think he's also another one of those resources. He's a really great guy. I told him I look at him as a mentor. And so I better be involved in what's going on in his personal life too. And then, learn about other things going on when that date that I've got to make a decision because it conflicts with other things, and prioritize. But by taking action, I realize, and making the right action leads us to the next right step. Because when I went over there to take pictures of this lady's property and the work that needed to be done, I went to her door, see if she was there because her car's there, but I know she said she was going to be gone today. So she must have drove with someone else, but she left us a note of what needed to be done. So I was reading that, I took a picture of it, and then her neighbor came home. She's also the landlord to that neighbor. And I talked to her for a little bit, and I don't even know how it happened. But she starts telling me about her husband and some of the things that he's gone through, dealing with PTSD and stuff, and that he's a veteran. And I was like, I realized it's an opportunity. I could be like, man, I really got to get home. I got to work on my business. Or maybe this is an opportunity to share life experiences. And sometimes it's not always about the business and making money. It's about offering a service and that leading to the opportunities to make some money when you are genuine about it. And Nate, by the way, knows this better than anybody else. There's nobody more genuine, upfront, honest, loyal, and charismatic, passionate towards other people than him. And both of us have some of those uh, traits about us, but both of us also struggle with being around people, deal with some social anxiety. But this was a key example of if we're willing to speak up. I mean, I was like, this lady's going to think I'm like, you know, I don't know, going to steal something off her neighbor's property or something. Because I've had that happen before when I used to go door to door. Yeah, I've had the cops called on me because why is this guy, knocking on doors in downtown Sacramento? I was 17 years old, and it was because I was selling magazines. At least that's what they told me I was doing. And that group. But and I thought, okay, don't show that side of yourself. Just, you know, be real, be honest, give your best, smile, be confident, have a conversation, see where it goes. We started talking about the lady. She knew some of the things that the projects that were worked on and needed to be worked on, and told me what she knew. And I told her, here's what I know. Here's the note. She said, oh, great, you got more information than I could give to you. And then and before, like I said, I don't even remember. Somehow from there, it led to a conversation. She's her husband. He deserves to be at 100% with the VA, and they won't give it to him. They gave him a hard time saying that, like, well, are you able to shower in the morning? Are you able to put your shoes on? Then you're not disabled, and that's complete
Well,
It's what it is.
the majority of us,
Bullshit.
the majority of us don't agree with how the VA.
Right. And think about it though, like she even brought it up too, like when you have other illnesses like sleep apnea or uh, let's see, gastrointestinal pain, stuff, it doesn't show on the outside. You might still be able to do some things, but it doesn't mean it's not limiting you. And what I had described and explained to me about what he experienced, and how it has affected him since he's been home from his deployment, it's PTSD.
Well, yeah.
Hands on. When a person puts a gun to their head, they're not okay. And if I ever hear stories like, man, I think the VA, if that's what they're going to be doing to people, those people that are doing that, because they're not all like that, those VSOs who are speaking to somebody like that need to be stripped from what they are doing because they need somebody that's there advocating that individual and help them. And that's the same thing that we would do in our line of work, whether it's life transformation or marketing. Advocate for the individual, see where they're hurt, where they're bleeding, where they're in pain, and find a way how they're going to get the help that they need and what they deserve, so they could stop feeling like they're stuck, stop feeling like they're not worth it. And while I was talking to her, he came home. We spoke, and every as we were talking, while I was talking to his wife, she said the same thing. Everything you're saying is exactly what I've heard him say, what he's gone through. And I was like, whoa, this is surreal. And then when I started talking to him, he said the same thing. He said, dude, this is weird. What you're sharing about your life is what I've already experienced too. And he just had an experience, kind of an awakening, something that worked for him recently that helped him overcome some of the thoughts that get into his head. Um, but we didn't have enough time to share all of each other's stories. But I think we made a friend. We exchanged numbers and stuff, and who knows, it may lead to something. And one of those things, let's go ahead and throw how this relates to both of us. It's not just like, oh, how could maybe I could help him, or maybe that friendship helps me, but he's actually a business owner. This guy, he does things with furniture and stuff. His wife showed me some pictures of some of the furniture he's made. Like, I think it kind of makes me think some of the stuff that you're into, Nate, and your dad, maybe your grandpa. What was it? Only your grandpa that built stuff? Did your dad do it too?
Yeah, my grandpa did chainsaw carvings and things, but yeah, yeah. And my
So,
grandpa, my dad's built furniture. I've seen him build things, but lots of
so
different.
what stood out to me at glance with the furniture that I saw he had, it looks like he burns it into the wood. Like let's say for example, I saw a picture of a bed frame, and he had the most amazing images, looked like burned or etched or both into that frame.
Yeah.
And he also made the metal siding and stuff to go to the wooden frame, and so all these things. And this guy, he can only go to work when he's feeling good. She said, like if he's having one of those bad days, he can't go and do it, but that's one of his passions. And he was aviation, well, worked in aviation. I don't remember exactly right now what it was, but we had that in common too. We both have problems with memory. But and I told him a little bit of what I'm working on that's helped me with that is finally taking the initiative to listen to what they say with the science of things like the intermittent fasting, and drinking water first thing in the morning, and going on a walk first thing in the morning. And it is eating, being cautious with what I eat, when I eat, and doing those things first in the morning has been making a huge difference for me. Now I was talking to my life coach today, and uh, I was telling him like, yeah, these were the goals. I was supposed to do it. These things came up, and I know you're supposed to adjust, adapt to what's going on. I tried to do that, and he's like, hey, hold on, stop right there. What did you say? I said I tried to get these things done, but I had these other things come up, and we talked about the word try for a little while, and to turn a try into a do. And so, we reshaped some things of like, I made my goals and what ended up becoming more priorities, and then we made new goals and stuff. But so it's a work in progress. Anyways, little bit on a tangent and stuff. I just got excited you made that comment, and yeah, we relate to people, and there's things that we have to offer, and it'll lead to other opportunities of growth and progress, whether it's personally or professionally or both. And I felt like there's a strong chance that's what I'll experience both those things with this guy in some way, shape, or form. I don't know that he would be a client. He sounded like he's a guy. He's gonna help himself, but as a friend and stuff, I think we help each other. You know, bring us to that next step, which is why we're having this conversation. So we're talking about yeah, we mentioned your website. We're talking about marketing. So this was all brought up because somebody in another group that I was in is looking for exactly what he does, and I was like, okay, what do you want me to give him? Your website or your phone number or both? And he said, I don't care, do both, or do whatever. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I think I looked at your website recently, and I'll click on it again, and then it's like, okay, I'm looking at this. All right, yeah, you're right. It has changed a little bit, or a lot since we were working on things in 2022, I think it was, when I made a special attempt to stop driving trucks back then and work for Nate and learn how to do website design and wanted to get into this. And then I was like, this is not my passion. This is his. I cannot, I have a hard time giving myself into something that's not mine. Um, but I still learned some things. And then now that I'm starting something and I know I'm going to have to do those things, I'm grateful for the time we had, and I will probably have to invest more into learning it anyways. And maybe at some point we'll be paying Nate to teach me or to do things for my own business. Um, and but anyways, we were so I was trying to figure out what am I sharing with this guy. I looked at that, and as I've been working on my own personal development to figure out, some other marketing strategies I've been learning from a few people. Um, I thought it needed to be irresistible. It needs to be something that grabs your attention. I thought, man, I'm having a hard time finding. Maybe I'm not finding some things and stuff, like, and this is my best friend in the world, and I know what his goals are, and so I'm looking at it from perspective. And I was like, hey, man, I feel kind of bad for saying this, but I feel like I want to help you market, and he's the marketer, and but this gives an opportunity because what Nate and I do is we can agree and disagree and then bring some focus into the picture of saying, hey, no, listen, this is why I do what I do. This is the reason why. And when he said what those reasons why, I was like, put that on there. Even what you said earlier, even if you just did what you said and just make it blank, just pitch black, and then have white letters or something that said, hey, look, I'm busy working on everybody else's stuff so that your stuff looks better. So I'm not, mine doesn't. And
And a
and
phone
then put
number
your
or whatever.
contact
A call to
information.
action.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that would literally be legit good enough and say, speak volumes of the person that you are. And that's all I want people to see it and notice. Because I mentioned to this guy and stuff, yeah, this guy's my friend's been doing this for over 15 years. He's done all those things that you're asking for in a lot of different areas. And then I go to you and I'm like, what do you want me to share? And I'm like, I'm gonna check out your website. And then it's like, it looks
Man,
really
I feel
plain
a
and
little
just talking
embarrassed.
to
I
lawyers.
feel a little embarrassed giving this to him. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, you know what? Actually, I kind of want to just take the snippet of what you said today and post that to him. Um, and maybe in addition to the thing, be like, hey, look, this is the honest truth, because what do we really want to sell? What people really sell is themselves. And maybe even like, might even take this video that we're talking right now or shorten part of it. Um, that gets that point across just to say, look, this is why, and this is who I am, what I do, and what I've done. So, yeah, that's the discussion that we're having. And I'm sorry I've taken a lot of time. What are your thoughts with all that information that I just dumped on us?
So, no, I agree, and I think that your website matters more and less important in different times of your journey. In the beginning, your website is important because it's your first line of contact. It's generally the first thing people see, which is why you went to it. You were like, "Oh wow, this is kind of embarrassing. I don't want to give this to this guy." how do I explain to him that, he doesn't just only work with lawyers, even though that is my ideal audience. These 90, probably 5% of my clients are lawyers or attorneys. I should say attorneys because that's the more acceptable term. Not all lawyers are attorneys. You could be.
So, and say again too, like with what you were saying earlier, the reason why are they your ideal clients and all the
Because,
other business owners aren't?
well, I mean, everyone's going to be like, oh, budget. They have the budget. Not all lawyers have the budget, first of all, or not all attorneys have the budget. But for one, they understand business. Most attorneys have a very good professional business kind of atmosphere. So when you're breaking things down for them into your CRM, I use Asana. Lots of people use different things. Some people program up their own. A lot of people use Go High Level. It doesn't matter. But when you break down your steps and things that you need from them, usually attorneys are quicker to get back to you, get you what you need. As an example, when I'm working with plumbers or electricians, I'm like, hey, I need this, I need that. A lot of the times they take their sweet time. A lot of times you got to keep repeating it and asking for it. And it's like they just kind of put it off until it's like, oh, we're not busy anymore. You're not doing your job because things are slow. And it's like, look, I've asked you for videos. I've asked you for photos. I've asked you for your bios. I've asked you for, approval for this press release. I've asked you that, and you just have left me on mute, basically, or pause. And now that you need me to do my job, or you need this, now you're going to hopefully slam it all on my desk. I'd even be okay with that, but generally they don't. Attorneys, video is hard to get from them, but almost anything else, it's like they're quick, they're professional, they follow the formula, they're good to work with. If something was to happen economy-wise, COVID was kind of a wake-up call for me. You need an attorney regardless. You're going to need an attorney, even in COVID, even during a recession, depression. You're going to need an attorney. So it's pretty safe. So there was a formula of why I chose to work with attorneys. Plus my background, I had a good buddy who I worked for a long time that I white labeled under him, meaning he was the face, he's the agency. I worked as this masked figure in the background doing the work for him. And didn't get the credit. I just got the payment, which is fine with. It was fine with me. That's he's a good guy. He took care of me, and I learned a lot. At one point, I was managing about 40 or 50 of his clients, all law firms, and so I didn't really want to go into the industry because I'm like, hey, I don't want to. This guy's my friend. I don't, that's messed up for me to learn what I did from him and to do what I did for him, and then become a competitor, but. Fast forward, he sold his agency. I no longer had that kind of guilt because obviously he left, had some kind of non-disclosure or something going on. Don't know. He didn't tell me, obviously. But he was out of the industry, and it's like, okay, that opens this up for me to do this. But I think more importantly, beyond the marketing aspect, is I want to help people, and that's just the truth. It's not just a business thing. It's like, I want to help, at minimum 100,000 people before I die. I want to, even if that's just small little things. Like, I don't care if someone's hurting and they just need to talk to someone and they want to call up and I talk to them and I help them feel better. Like, that's helping someone. Someone runs out of gas. I want to pull over and help them. And this is extremely hard for me to do, by the way, because I do have social anxiety. And I've had somebody a lot of people don't want help. This is just honest truth. There's a lot of people that don't necessarily want the help. There's a lot of people who we now live at a time that people don't understand why you want to help. They think that there's an alternative motive. They think that there's something else. I'm doing this for some other reason, or I just try to help someone and see how difficult it is sometimes. Because literally, like, I'm like, hey, I'll do that for you, and they're like, oh. Well, how much do you want? It's like, no, I'll just help you. It's only going to take me like 5-10 minutes. It's cool. Like, let me help you do this. Oh, well, do I have to give you access to my website or access to this? It's like, no, I'll just give you the file. You can upload it yourself or whatever, It's like, oh, what if it has malware? It doesn't. I'm like, what? It's like, bro, I'm like, and then I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to talk this guy in. I'm literally selling this guy on me helping him for free. And I'm going like, you step back, you're like, this is twisted, this is messed up, but but
Yeah.
you'll notice that when you help people, they are very very reluctant because of scammers and all these things going on, and they can't understand in their mind why you would want to help them. They just don't, and especially where I'm not like videoing it and I don't got a video in people's faces going, oh, I'm giving this homeless guy all this money, look at this, like, no, I'm not that guy. Number one, I wouldn't want somebody putting a camera in my face in my vulnerable state in my time where I need help. And I sure wouldn't do that to someone else because I'm not that person, for one. For two, I'm wanting to help them. I'm not out here to help myself, help my views, help this, help that. I am just helping. And it doesn't matter who that is or what that is. That's the other thing that a lot of people have. We've had discussions where people are asking me things like, "Well, what if it's somebody who's better off than you, like financially? What
Yeah.
does that matter? What does finances have anything to do with helping people? Oh, I'm sorry, man. You're off the road bleeding to death, but you make more money than me. I can't help you." Like, it's like
Right.
I don't know at what point that society changed, but there was a shift and a change in society, and it happened to where we we don't like somebody because of who they voted for. We don't like somebody because they make too much money. We don't like somebody because they make too little of money. I don't like this person because they're trying to chase their dreams and I don't think they're worth it. Like, there's just it is so wrong in so many ways, and I think that's what's kind of pushed me or persuaded me to reach out and just try to help people. Like, and it doesn't mean that I can just go, oh, here's $1,000, obviously, because I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not this, and even if I was, I obviously wouldn't be for long if I was giving everybody $10,000 and doing
Right.
this thing. And I don't know if that's necessarily helping people. If in some situations, obviously it would. But in a lot of situations, you might be doing more harm than good, because there's some people that you got to teach them to fish, not to give them fish. You got to teach
Right.
them how to help themselves because no one's going to rescue you. That's just a sad reality, especially for most men. I mean, and that's not a bash on women. They have their own caveats and problems and things that they deal with that men don't. But with men, where we were, especially our generation before these newer ones, we were taught, walk it off, rub some dirt in it, like stop being, like,
Yeah.
man up, like we were really forced to. It was like emotion is weakness, and these things are, and I'm sure I don't know about you, but these things still play in your mind. It does me all the time. Like, it's like, I joke about it a lot because I think it's silly, but it's kind of like, oh, you break your leg. It's like, oh, just walk it off. Don't worry, I got it.
Right. Drink
Like,
water. That's what the military always said. Drink some water.
drink some
Just drink
water.
some water.
Yeah.
I got something that came to mind with what you were saying and stuff about like helping people, um, and just because they're wealthy and you're not doesn't mean you shouldn't help them out. And it made me think of some of our other conversations. We talk about credibility, experience, and stuff like that. And the one thing that I have learned when you have an experience in something that feels so like it's you overcome. This is just from, I guess, why I choosing life transformation stuff and belief can help people in different areas of life is that when you start to discover that you can overcome and change one, two, three situations in your life that you didn't think was possible and you carried habits and stuff for your entire life. I'm 43 years old. Not all of my habits have carried over the entire time, but some of them, a lot of them had, or they would come and they would go. How many times have we had habits that come and then they go and then they come and then they go? But how many have come, left, and never came back? And that's what I feel like I've experienced is to understand the formula now of how to make those problems not come back, but also about how to acquire the solutions that I want to come and make them keep coming. And so what I acknowledge is that the formula is very much the same with any category of what somebody's trying to do. So just because somebody else has experience that I don't, doesn't mean that I'm not capable of helping them. And so I think we talked about it earlier and stuff, but we'll put it through the idea of what we're saying, stopping the bleeding. I think I made a comment to you. I was kind of slightly joking and stuff, be like, like as I was advertising myself to be your life coach. But there's some truth in some of the things I was saying. I was basically saying like what I'm learning as I go too is that I realize that I'm not going to offer anything to someone. There might be a few things here and there and things that I can relate to, whatever, but really what my craft needs to become is helping people realize the tools they already have, how valuable they are, and the ones that they're not using, the ones that they are using, and how they can use what they have more often and more efficiently. And I'm only getting a glimpse of what that feels like because I'm still trying to learn to apply it to myself. Like I realize I have experiences that we define these days as ADHD, depression, anxiety, overthinking, anxious, just jumping all over the place, can't stay focused. And yet there's something special I'm feeling on the inside that's changing things on the outside. And this has been a philosophy. I wrote this down as I make these what I call vision board books, just like a notebook here. This one happens to be my life coach, my personal one. This is the one that I'm going to start using just when I talk to my life coach. And so I write down what he's saying, and I also write down my thoughts and impressions. But I've been creating one for everything that I'm doing. This one is for all the workshops that I attend. And I'm learning that sometimes I don't always have, there's so many of them, so I'm writing things in the same one, and it gets a little bit confusing. But when I can have those kinds of ideas in the moment, because how many times do we have an inspiration that turns into an intention and then gets forgotten, lost, pushed to the side, never turns into action, but the action is what turns into results. And so I'm recognizing that is one of the biggest parts of the formula that we should all remember and never forget. Find a way, and here's another key to it. It's not just when you get inspired, it's how do you create an environment that you can create that inspiration in that moment. And so once you do, then you get into that inspiration. Then you start thinking about what you're going to do with it and why it's important to you and how you're going to do it. Those are your intentions. And then you start putting it into action. Those are your actions. And the actions, if they're consistent and we don't slow down or we make adjustments, if we do go slow, we pay attention to what's working, what's not working, and make quick adjustments, we're going to get results. And the faster we learn how to do that formula, the faster we can create results in our lives on the go. And let's see, I was going to say something else and then I'll throw it back to you. So earlier, actually, real quick too, I'm going to turn on this light because I'm like half shadow. Okay, I don't know if that helped or not. It's so freaking bright, it blinds me. I think it is better, isn't it? Now you can tell I don't have a beard. um, but anyways, I may have gone on a tangent. We were talking about helping people and how you can help people even if you don't have that experience. You used it from your perspective of helping people who are wealthy, even if you may not have met your wealth goals that might match them. And personally, I feel the same way about anything. However, I do agree still simultaneously at the same time that credibility is important. But I think credibility can be built in many different ways. And part of that is following that pattern and creating that action and connecting with other people and watching our perspectives change your outlook, you change your outcome.
Yeah, so that's awesome. It brings a lot of things to my mind when we're talking about these things like credibility. And obviously, I think differently because I'm a marketer and because my marketing brain, I see things as number one, marketing is an illusion. That's just the truth. It's just an illusion. We're just magicians who portray something in a way that looks real that isn't. So when we talk credibility as an example, most law firms will go and they'll pay money, like as an example, they'll pay to be the best lawyer in U.S. News or whatever. And they're paying for that badge. And then they go to super lawyers, they pay for that badge. And then they're paying to be on the news. And then they're paying for the BBB and all these different, basically, credibilities, we could call them. But in reality, they're paying for every one of these things. Any lawyer can pay for these. So it's an illusion. It's not even credibility. It's he with the most money wins, or he or she, I should say. But at the end of the day, it's an illusion. And so credibility is only as good as the person behind it. And the same with our tools and anything that we learn and do. What I've found, or for myself, is, and it reminds me of when I was very little, probably 8 or 9 years old, there was this poem my mom, I think I learned it from a teacher, and my mom ended up buying me a little bookmark, but it essentially is saying the person who wins isn't necessarily the best. So as an example, the fastest runner may not enter the race because he doesn't think he's good enough. Or you can put that in any scenario, but it's the person who doesn't give up is the one who wins. So yeah, you're going to try, you're going to fail, you're going to try, you're going to fail, you're going to try, you're going to fail. Hell, I've failed more times than I've won, hands down, but all it takes is to win once. And then you're an entrepreneur. Boom, you win once. Boom, yeah, I had a million other ideas before I went into marketing, a million. And I'm still trying, as we said at the beginning, I'm trying to come up with inventions and things. I've always wanted to be an inventor. But at the end of the day, yeah, credibility matters to a degree. But at the end of the day, I have met people who were licensed to do a job and they totally botched it. Totally botched it. I mean, the job was terrible. They got a college degree, they got certifications, they have everything that you would look for, and they were the worst contractor I've ever worked with in my life. So while those things are important, and that's why in the beginning when I was telling you, it was like, I would rather get in front of someone and show them my value, show them what I can do, than to tell them, than to use these fake illusions and credibilities. And because I'm a marketer, I could do that too. I can go out and buy these awards. I can go out and buy this and buy that, and before you know it, I look like this top dog, schnazzy, marketer. But I believe in being real. And just like I told you when you were like, what do you do about your videos? Do you clean these up, do that? And I'm like, well, I struggle with video because of my social anxiety, so I may not even be giving you the right advice. But I think people crave real, especially with AI now and everything. They want to see something real. And if I'm being real and I'm being really me, I have a hard time pushing my own credibility in things because it's an illusion. I don't want to trick people to work with me. I don't want to. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it for your own business by any means. I'm not saying that, because those lawyers that are paying for those things, it works because the majority of the population do not know what I'm telling you right now. The majority don't know that these are bought awards. The majority don't know that these are these credentials that, they paid to be on the news, and things like that. And so and that's part of my trouble too, is that I put these high ethics and standards on myself, and you've already known this. You've even said ideas like, what if you had your clients refer you and you give them a percentage and things like that? And that's a tactic that a lot of people do. And I'm like, if I have to bribe somebody to give me a referral or recommend me to somebody, I failed at my job. It's something personally I feel, because it's like, if what I have done for you doesn't inspire you to reach out to one of your friends to help them, then I have failed. And that's how I really viewed it. And I do referral systems now, but the point is sometimes I've held myself back by putting these really high ethics or these really high things that may not even be unethical. It just seems wrong to me. And so yeah, being real, the credentials, anybody can get a credential. You could get credentials tomorrow. You could do workshops, get certificates. You could enroll into like a 6-month course in college and get yourself a degree, and you could hang them up on the wall behind you and show those off instead of showing off all these conversation pieces that I hang. But at the end of the day, once again, like I said, what makes a good doctor and a bad doctor any different? Because it isn't certificates and it isn't degrees, because they all had to do the same education. Now there's might be some that had better grades, and that may correlate over into their job for sure. But there's going to be some that credential doesn't necessarily mean anything. So that's why I take the approach that I do. When I first started doing SEO, contracts were like pretty standard. It was kind of like if you wanted to work with somebody who did SEO, you better plan on signing a 6 month, probably a year minimum contract on average. And I was like, I don't want people to be stuck working with me if they don't like me or I'm not doing a good job. Why should I force them to keep paying me if they're not happy? Like, that's messed up. That's a terrible thing. I feel that would be terrible for me. I got this person that has to pay me. They hate me. I'm not doing a good job, and they want to leave, but I'm forcing them to stay. I think that's wrong. So I always did month to month. And then the same thing with web design. I started to notice people, they hire somebody to do their website design. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now we're talking 3 months, sometimes 6 months in, and they don't even have a website yet. And then the business owner that hired them gets discouraged and they just start approving. It's kind of like, okay, that's fine, whatever, that's fine, whatever. They just want to get this over with. And now they're stuck with this website they don't like, and they got to go hire someone else. And they're afraid it's going to happen again. And the same thing's going to happen again. I'm just going to hire someone, and I'm going to hate it, and we're going to go back and forth, and this, and it's like, so I'm like, how can I fix that? Oh, I won't charge them until I'm done. So they don't pay me a dime. I literally start building. I build the entire thing exactly how they want it, going back and forth until everything's perfect. And then when they're like, okay, I love it, everything's great, and then at that point, they pay me. But until then, no, I build for free. And because I feel that, number one, they're trusting me to do this for them. So I should trust them to pay. I should trust them as much as I expect trust back from them. And so that's kind of how I operate. I always look at a problem and I go, how can I fix this? And I've done that since I was little, whether it be a broken alarm clock or whatever. I want to open it up. I want to see how it works. I want to see how I can fix it. And that alone has kind of guided me. And then helping people, obviously, that was something that is more recent within the last year or two that I've been trying. It doesn't mean I can help everybody. And sometimes I even drop the ball, I'm going to be honest. Like, sometimes I get a lot going on in my life. Like my daughter's being sick and things like that. And I totally space things. And I apologize to anyone that I've done that to. I do, because that's not helping them. That's probably hurting them. And I feel horrible. And I try to get back. And I've gotten a lot better in this last year with that. But in the beginning, that was a big struggle because it is. We don't really think about things through to where it's like, well, when things go wrong, they require more of my attention, and anybody paying me has to come before me helping people for free, because I have to take care of my family. And
You're right. That's a good point too. When I think about it from my perspective, when I was trying to figure out like what are some of my, maybe we call them core philosophies, or my business statement, my mission, or whatever. What's the ethics statement? Yeah. Something about myself and what do I want to do? And I narrowed it down. And I've had different ways that this has come to me in the last few days, but I wrote down about, even when I'm helping somebody else with their business, I'm thinking you have to look at everything as a service. If you want to succeed, it has to be a service. And, if you're working with people, those people need to feel fulfilled. So offer a service to make them feel fulfilled in their employment status. If your employees are not satisfied and happy in their personal life, and they bring that to work, well, then their productivity goes down, and which means your business goes down. And so when you start looking at things as a joy, and you start looking at things as a service, and you look at it as everything's an opportunity, and when you're in that state, Tony Robbins likes to call it a beautiful state. It allows you to be more creative. It allows you to be able to get your desired outcomes a lot faster. And so, yeah, in this case, we're talking about family and stuff. If you were focused on your family the whole time, that family could be a motivation to work you to, okay, I got to finish this done so I can get paid, so I can, get my next meal for my kids, or buy that car because my kid's gonna, be of age or whatever, and I'm tired of driving because every time I have to take them, I have to leave instead of stay home and work on this project, which just delays my projects, and then I'm not making money. So, then you have to start thinking about like, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that from where I'm at? Well, what does it look like when I am able to do that? What's the end result? And, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And um, where am I at now? What would it be like if things don't change? Add some years onto that, 5, 10, 20, or hopefully your daughters aren't going to be there for another 20 years. That's a huge distraction.
Sorry, I can't turn it off.
Like I'm blind. Huh? Okay. Anyways, yeah, like so all these we all have problems, and how can we get to our solutions faster and be more efficient with it, and be the creators of what the solutions are and the timeline of the solutions. That's what we want to get at in any business, in any situation, in any home, any family, any life, and so that we don't have to remain in the same state we are, because when we are, that's when we get depressed. That's when we get upset. That's when we get sad. That's when we lose motivation. And that's when our action goes down and our results get lessened too. So now, not only did we not make our goal, but we actually made it harder to achieve. We made our situation worse. And I think we all do this at some way times in our lives. Sometimes we're aware of it. Probably most of the time we're not aware that we're doing it.
I agree.
It could be something as easy as like somebody got sick or I got sick, and before we knew it, we didn't get something done, but we said it didn't happen because we were sick. And so does that mean that it's possible to do it when we're sick? I don't know. This sign says
Yes.
do it tired, do it weak, do it sad, do it
Yes.
anyway. Does
Yes.
it mean do it sick?
Yes, it does. It does mean to do it sick. I can't tell you how many times I've had kidney stones to where I was laying on the bathroom floor, and then I get to where it's like I get a moment of relief, and most time, I'm going. I should go lay on the couch. I should go lay on the bed. I should go take it easy. But I'm like, no, I got to go and I got to get that done. I made promises, or I agreed that I would do something. It has to get done one way or the other. And I'm not going to feel any better tomorrow. It could get worse. So if we could do it while we're sick, and we can do it when we don't want to, and we can do it when we're tired, we could do it when we're sad, we could do it when we're weak, then the rest of the time is going to be easy. Like that's just it. That routine, once it's in place, like, yeah, there's been times where I was so didn't want to do it and so exhausted that it was like it took something that would take me an hour, it took me 10. And people have told me, Nate, you would have been better off just taking a break and going back. No, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't want to go back to it. So I had to force myself to do it. It took me 10 times longer. But, I don't have that problem to where I wake up and go, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it because of that system. And so it doesn't mean that you can always follow that system. There's going to be times like, my daughter, I have to go and I have to do these things to take care of her and take her to appointments and do these things. So that's going to take away some of this time. That just means I'm working later tonight. That just means that it's going to be a long day, because that doesn't mean that I get the day off. That means.
You know what else it tells me though? You know what it tells me?
Yeah. What?
It tells me, how do I prevent myself or my kids from being sick?
Well, right. You got to improve.
I don't like a late night.
Yeah, you got to eat better. You got to actually, you got to be healthier. You got to create healthy patterns, and but that's a whole nother conversation. And like I said though, like, yes, the helping. So everything comes back, as you said, kind of a service or helping. I like to use helping because that's more clear. But helping, at the end of the day, that's what everything is. When a client comes to me, I don't go, man, how much money can I get for this? Or oh, how much should I charge them? Or this is $6,000. I really need this. What, in the beginning, maybe my mind went to money because I'm like, oh, I really need this money, especially when I was first starting. But as time has gone on, the question changed from money to just like the beginning of this conversation. Can I help these people? Because if somebody comes to me and they want to hire me and I don't feel that I can help them, you shouldn't take somebody's money. Like, right. If you can't help them, you shouldn't take their money. And so if a lot of people just slowed down and looked at it from how can I help them, I think it would remove most of their problems, including the money, including the money, because that's what people want. They want you to help them. They don't want you. It's like, oh, for X amount of money, I'll do this, 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 and this. Like, well, you sound like everyone else. Everybody else is doing that. Everybody else offers the service for money. Like, but it's like when you slow down and you ask questions, you slow down and you're like, hey, yeah, I can help with that. And then it's like, oh, they're like, well, what about this and this and this? It's like, well, I don't really do that, but I can help you with that other stuff for sure. Right? um, and that's what I mean by finding the ideal client. Sometimes the ideal client is just somebody you can get along with. Somebody
Yeah.
that you hang out, you laugh, you have fun, but at the same time you're getting what needs to be done. And and
Right.
and I have clients like that too. They're not my best paying clients. They're not my but I feel like they're some of my best clients because it doesn't feel like work. And if it don't feel like work, then I'm making a living doing something that I enjoy. They're making a living by doing what they enjoy, and I help them do what they don't enjoy. Um,
Right. So what I heard from all that and stuff, piecing everything together and going back to where we started to, we're talking about like, well, in this case, we're talking about your website and business and everything, but we can generalize this to the same thing would work in other people's environments, their businesses and stuff. And so talk about it being, how is it helping people? And also really before we even get started, it seems like it's really about, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is the real me. This is what I can do. This is what I offer. This is what I expect from the people that I work with. And if you can't be that person, I can't help you. And then, so once you get past that piece, then it would be, okay, here are the ways that I can help you. If you can give these things to me, which means when I ask you for something, you're going to have to give me the information that I ask for so I can help you because my time means something to me. And then you have to kind of look at it from another perspective too. I think we have to, not say necessarily just you, but as I'm learning to acquire this business owner mentality, entrepreneur, but also spent so many years on the other side, I see the value in having both mentalities no matter what side you're in. If you're the customer, think like the person that is going to offer a what do you call it? Why my mind going blank? Um, Whatever their offer is, what's the word I'm thinking of? Um, Program play. I don't know why my mind's not thinking this. What do you call it? What do you offer? So you not mine might be called a program, but
Program,
or
contract, scope of work, whatever it may
uh,
be. Yeah, I mean,
the product. I think that's what I was looking
product or
for. So
service, right? Yeah.
you got a product. So you want them to see things from your perspective of what you do in order to get that product out to them, while at the same time as the business owner of creating that product, we need to be able to see the mindset of that individual asking for the product. And if we could create a balance and a set of rules right off the bat of what that relationship looks like, I think we'll get better results faster because they could start shaping in their mind, be like, okay, yeah, because all of your clients are going to be business owners. Mine aren't. All of yours will be. And so they're going to be like, oh, of course, you're right. I understand that because I'm a business owner too. And I need to be respecting other people's time, their efforts, their money, their philosophy, their systems and stuff. And so when you lay out those rules at the beginning, I think it should be somewhere on that front page, have like this program I'm going through. I'm learning, and I'll just be clear, if those interested, it's been great so far for me, maybe different opinions for others, but I went through some programs with Tony Robbins, met this guy named Todd Hartley, and Todd Hartley's into lead generation and accelerating business. And one of the things that he's been teaching us about in these groups is about making an irresistible offer. He said if it's not irresistible from the moment they get on that page, it's not worth it. It's bad. don't even do it. You might as well quit now. Make it irresistible. And so he talks about some of the ways to make it irresistible and ways to get your leads and stuff. And though, so there's ways you get referrals, talk to people, be in public, do your social media, use other people's audiences, all these different things you can do, right? Online ads. But he said online ad is what you do later after you've made money. Don't do it. Don't waste your time on it until you have already made it. Because all those other things can be done free. You don't have to always pay to be someone else's audience. Just find the right audience that will work for you. They may be in a similar situation. Like, that's kind of what we're doing. Neither one of us have created a podcast. Neither one of us really have any kind of following, but yet we're like, you know what? We got to start somewhere. Let's just do it. And so we go in and do it. And then by taking these kinds of actions, it will lead to something else. And so anyways,
like bankruptcy. No, I'm just kidding.
I hope not.
I'm kidding.
We might have to shorten
joking.
these videos. We are taking a long time, but we're gonna wrap it up. But know what you're offering. Put it on the page. So it's not just your irresistible offer. In your case, because it is who you are, it needs to be extremely clear.
Yeah, well, there's a different onboarding, and like I said, I would rather get on a Zoom than somebody look at my website any day of the week, just because I think we are connecting. Like, connections are more important than any kind of sales material. And to me, I need to know what they need. It could totally be something that I don't even offer or something that I can't even help them with. And if that's the case, I need to know that right out the door instead of wasting my time on creating a plan, doing all these things, and then we jump on a Zoom and they're like, oh, this is what I really meant. And then you're like, well, I wasted all that time creating you all these ideas, but it wasn't your idea.
So here's some of my thoughts on that.
And I only got, I don't want to cut you off, but I got like 5 minutes, so go ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, what if you had to do that with everybody that needed to be explained to? What if instead of doing that, just have a short video of explaining 100%. What you offer, have a few images on there and stuff. You don't have to sell anything if they 100%. Already feel connected to you, because then it's not just about your products and what you're marketing, it's also about your set of rules that you live by, of who you are as a person and what kind of clients you want. So be upfront with that. And when that sells, when all of it sells, they're like, okay, I know his rules, I know the kind of person he is, and I know his products, and I know his success. All right, I'm clicking on that. We're going to have this call. I'm ready to have the conversation. Now you're not having everybody ask you questions and repeating the same things and laying down those rules. You've already laid it down. They already know what they are, and you can go straight into what's your problem and how can I help you?
Yeah, 100% for sure. If I was trying to scale into a big agency, you're absolutely right. Like I said, this is more of like a short form. Wall marketing is my skill set and what I've known for a very long time. It's not, I want to retire someday, man. And at this course, yes. I'm not going to be able to retire. These are just honest truths. I can max capacity and I can do what I got to do, but at this time in the game, I'm too far behind to get caught up doing what I'm doing now. That's why I have to do 10 income sources. That's why I have to do what I'm doing, and to build these other things that I'm more, I wouldn't say more passionate about, because my biggest passion is helping people that just don't pay the bills.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm going to prove you wrong about that one, buddy.
I hope so. I hope so.
Woo. So Nate's got to get going. What I do know
is if you don't give up and you just keep doing it, you're going to get better at it. Like this video, it's probably never going to get watched. I'll bet you very few people will probably watch this huge monstrosity we have talked about here. But it's helped me get in front of the camera. It's helped me face my fears. And part of that is because I know Zach. And because I know Zach, it just seems like we have these conversations. If we recorded one of our other conversations, you guys would probably be like, "Oh my gosh, we're talking about how it's not realistic that this alien can land on the moon because that's not possible without this and that." And it's like before you know it, we've gone off on this huge tangent of we're arguing something that it's not likely or even possible, and we're both arguing an impossibility. And
No, and with that too, since you need to get going, we'll wrap it up. But I think we should do two different types of segments. One like this, where we're focused on the business, and one completely with us just having those random, crazy, entertaining, funny moments, doing stupid things, talking about who knows what, and have it
sure.
separate on our channels. And next time, as far as this business side, I think we should discuss. Yes, Nate wants to retire in the next 10 years, right? Okay, I think that's great. I think I should make that goal too, honestly, because I already know what health can do to a person. And so I think next time we meet, we need to discuss what those ways are, go more in detail of those 10 sources of income and revenue, and then build off of that. So thank you,
Yep.
Nathan Olsen from Indio SEO and Live Transformations with Zachary Bailey. Create your podcast. If you haven't, post this onto it, Nate, so that we both have a
For
platform
sure.
going
For
out
sure.
with these videos.
$100%.
I need you to send this to me because you host
Right.
it, and I
Right.
will post it on mine today as soon as you give it to me. All
Yeah.
right, man. Have a great day,
100%.
listeners. Go out there and destroy the world. Make your desires, your desired outcomes
Chase
come
your
to life.
dreams.
Bye.
See you.
Later, dude.